What is up, everybody? This is Power to Women. I forgot how many episodes we're in, but I think it's like around 26. This is super exciting because I don't think so far, honestly, the person I'm going to be talking about today is probably my favorite woman of all time, probably. Or that's still alive. She is a freaking master. Okay, she is. But before we get into who she is and what she did, I have another special friend here with me today. This is Coraline, okay? And for everybody listening, this little segment is the plant segment. So if you'd like to see my special plant visitor for the day, you can go check out YouTube, or I might be posting them on Instagram too, so you go check it out there. All at Power to Women. Woohoo! But yeah, so this is Caroline. Actually, no, it's Coraline. I'm sorry. Mispronounced my own plant's name. Who am I? This is Coraline. I named her like that because she kind of looks like those plants from Coraline, you know? Like they were all like kind of spooky, like this like little alien-y, you know what I mean? But I wanted to show her today because if you look real closely, I don't know if you can see, but like she's flowering and she's got the most beautiful pink little flowers, and she's never flowered for me before. But yeah, so this is Coraline, and she's in a beautiful pot here, or candle holder, from Womxn. So if you would like to go get this candle, it was a really amazing candle. It had a crystal in it. So if you want to go get this candle, it's from Womxn. And then you can also, after you're done burning the candle, put a little plant in it. But yeah, so that's my little special friend for the day. I hope you like Coraline. She's gonna be here with me. But yeah, so that was Coraline, okay? So I guess we should get into who I'm talking about today, because the person I'm talking about today is brilliant. Okay, when I tell you she is inspiring me, like I've never heard of her before, which is so weird because like I've heard of the stuff she's done, but I've never heard of her. But there are certain reasons for that. Like there were some things that she did in her life that probably wasn't the best thing, but I thought that was freaking cool, you know. But yeah, so let's get into it. So the person I'm going to be talking about today, her name is Sinéad O'Connor. That's right. And some of you might know who she is. She's still alive today. But she was born December 8th, 1968. And she's still kicking it, still living it. She's living over in Ireland still. She's an Irish singer-songwriter. And I want to start from the beginning, like I usually do, you know, with most people. Gotta start from the beginning. The reason specifically I want to start from the beginning with Sinéad is because she, what happened in her past, so in the beginning, really kind of affected her. And I want to talk about how, why she did some of the stuff in the later life. Did you hear that? I don't know what that was. But anyway, so she, like I said, she's Irish. She's an Irish singer-songwriter, and she was born in Dublin. And she was named, so she got her first name Sinead from the president's wife. So the Irish president's wife's name was Sinead. She got her middle name Marie, or Mary, either way you want to say it, from the mother of the doctor who gave birth to her. And I believe also her mother's name was Marie. I was kind of confused about that, so don't take that as whole truth, you know. And then her second middle name was Bernadette, and she got that after Saint Bernadette of Lourdes. Never heard of her, but I'm sure she was cool. And then her last name obviously came from her family. And she had 5 siblings. She was a third, just like me, I was not the third of 5 siblings, but I have 5 siblings. And her family wasn't the best, honestly. Her mother was really abusive, and her father was really abusive and neglectful. Their father left after him and her mother got a divorce, and he went to, I'm not sure where he went to, but he left completely. And so it was the 5 kids and the mother was really mentally ill, and she had some problems. She was really abusive, and she would beat the kids. And Sinead has actually gone on to Dr. Phil and talked about all this, and she talks about like how her mother would beat her, and she said one on a regular occasion, every time her mother would wake up and they could hear her footsteps, her and her little brother would cry because they just knew they were gonna get beat. They would just sit there and pee their pants because they knew they were gonna get beat. There was no she said the only constant in her life was that she was going to get beat that day, and it's freaking horrible. Why would you have kids to beat them? Why would you have kids to abuse them? And five of them, And she used to say like her mother used to tell Sinead that she wishes she was never born. She wishes she was a boy. She wishes that she just wasn't alive. And Sinead fought that, she got through all of that. And hearing her talk about this and hearing her stories, she's a very strong woman. For her to be able to withstand all of that and to grow into a functional human being, she is inspiring, you know what I mean? She proves to people that, hey, your past might be effed up, messed up, but you know what? You can still keep fighting. You can still keep going, It was really horrible. I'm one of the videos that she was talking to Dr. Phil about, I remember she said that her mother used to make Sinead tell Sinead, so Sinead would have to tell herself she's nothing over and over again while her mother beat her. And that's so that's emotional abuse, that's physical abuse, that's effed up, honestly. Like I said, I don't know why you would have kids to abuse them. I don't know why you would have kids to not want them to flourish, you know what I mean? That's an extension from yourself. That is yourself. You made a child, Why would you do that? Why would you try to destroy it? I don't understand. But I really give a lot of props to Sinead because when she was talking to Dr. Phil and she said that all she wanted was her mother. Still to this day, she even says that she wants her mother. She can't wait to the day that she dies naturally so she can see her mother. And Sinead, throughout her life, has been suicidal at different points of her life. And she said that she thinks part of the reason she was so suicidal was because she wanted to see her mother. So even though her mother beat the hell out of her, she still wanted her. She still wanted that love and affection. She still wanted the caring mother. But the thing is that that's not what her mother could have given her. That's not what her mother gave her, And that probably messed her up a lot. And I feel really bad for Sinead, but I also feel really happy and just ecstatic that she freaking made it out of there, She survived. She survived a very hard lifestyle. And I'm happy that she did because she is a brilliant woman, and she saved a lot of other people. And so, yeah, and thankfully, at the age of 13 or 15, she moved out of her mother's house and actually went to live with her father. And by 15, I believe, she was getting into some trouble, and she was shoplifting, she was getting truancies at school, she was just being a no good kid, you know what I mean? And they sent her to the Magdalene Asylum. Let me tell you about this place, okay? So the Magdalene Asylum was for fallen women, okay? So what fallen women means is that any woman who got pregnant before they were married, any woman who got an abortion, any woman who men did not think were acting like proper women, they would send there. Okay, so there's a place for women who didn't act like a woman to go because people thought they were mentally ill. Insane to me. I'm so glad the times have changed, honestly, because I don't know what I would have done, because I'm not a traditional woman, I want to say. I'm not super girly. I don't know, I'm just kind of neutral, you know what I mean? I don't really like to wear makeup. I mean, the only time I wear mascara is on the show, just to, like, make my eyelashes pop a little bit more, but, like, I don't wear makeup in regular life. I don't really like it. Like, it's just kind of, you know? I mean, it's beautiful on some people, and some people, the way they can do makeup, freaking, they're an artist, honestly. And, but yeah, so I want to say I was, like, a traditional and, like, stereotypical woman. So I would probably be sent there because I would be a fallen woman. That's messed up. Let me tell you. I would have fought on that. I would have been so mother effing pissed. I don't know how she lived, honestly. And she hated it there. You know, who won it? And she was there for 18 months, so a little over a year, and like, the whole process really made her writing and music a lot better because, like, she was just contained there, you know? And she was probably just pouring all her feelings and all of her heartache and all this crap into her writing and into her music. And, like, it really helped her there, but nothing else, you know what I mean? And when the girls there would get in trouble, and Sinead got in trouble a lot, they would have to go stay with the nurses in, like, the nursing quarters or whatever, and Sinead said that she never felt terror like that than staying there, which is sad because, like, after I just told you what she went through as a child, and she never felt terror like that at the asylum, must have been pretty bad, honestly. But you know what? She made it through again. Look at that. Sinead is a freaking survivor. She's probably the strongest person I've, like, talked about. Or even, like, discovered. Honestly, she's a very strong woman. She's a very determined and a very strong-headed woman. And I really, really like that. So after that, she was living with her father. And in 1986, her mother died in a car accident, and Sinead said that the greatest thing that her mother ever did for her was dying. Sinead was not happy that her mother died, but it, like, helped her, I guess? I'm not really sure, but, like, she just said that the greatest thing her mother ever gave her was her death. Which is very sad, but you know what? I'd probably be wishing the same thing if that was my mother, honestly. So then, when she was in high school, she actually dropped out of high school to join this band named Tauntaun Makudi, and they were touring, you know, doing the band thing, and then there she signed with her first major record label company because she was a brilliant singer. She really was. And that's where her first album, The Lion and the Cobra, came from. And a lot of her songs that were written on that was when she was like it was written between, like, 15 and 18. Those were the songs that was on the album. So the whole time she was in the asylum, the whole time, like, she was going through all that, the heartache and the trouble and all that was on that album. And so she said that, like, that album was kind of like an angsty teenager, which I can see it, you know. But yeah, so if you want to, go check out that album. It's a really good album, honestly, and I think it's freaking awesome, you know. But then she And she was also a writer, throughout this whole thing. So she wasn't just a singer. She was also a songwriter, and she wrote, and she actually wrote letters, actually. She actually has written several letters to the Irish Times, just, like, talking about herself. And, like, she published a letter about the abuse her parents gave her. And, like, she published other letters before. And she's a really good writer, too, which is freaking amazing, And she's very talented at everything she does, which is freaking awesome, you know what I mean? But yeah, so the album, The Lion and the Cobra, actually got her first Grammy nomination, and it was for the Best Female Rock Vocal Performance, which is freaking amazing, Grammy nominations are a big thing, for singers, and she got one, just starting out too, which is awesome. And she didn't win that one, but she has won a Grammy, and she won it for the Best Alternative Music performance for I Do Not Want What I Haven't Got. So that's another album that she has wrote, and it's a really, really good song. And so that's kind of like her like accomplishments, I would say, her big ones. She hasn't won a lot of awards, which I was really sad about, or not awards, I should say big awards, like Grammys and Tonys and all that. It's like, she hasn't won a lot of those. But she's won one Grammy, which is amazing. She deserves more. She deserves them all, in my opinion. But yeah. So, talking about, like, who has, like, influence her music and influence the way she writes, she has commented that Bob Dylan, David Bowie, Bob Marley, Siouxsie and the Banshees, and the Pretenders have all influenced her music, and those are all brilliant singers, I mean, I'm sure you all have heard at least of one of them, and they are really good singers and really good writers, and you now, like, when you go back and listen to her music, you can see, like, where that influence came from them, which is really amazing and really, like, motivating, because she found someone to motivate her and someone to influence her to keep making music, which is amazing, One of her biggest songs, like, so this is the song that I knew, but I didn't know who ever wrote it. Like, I never knew the artist, never knew who Sinéad O'Connor was, but the song Nothing Compares to You. Have you heard that song? It's like, nothing compares to you, something like that. I'm a horrible singer, sorry. But it's like, Nothing Compares to You. And I've heard that song several times. I mean, it's a huge song. And I never knew she wrote it. I never knew that was who was singing. I never knew any of that, which is crazy. And I'm so glad that I found her, because she's an amazing person. And I wish I would have known her sooner. You know what I mean? And I wish the whole world would know her. I mean, she is a world, like artist, and she's, like, traveled around and toured worldwide, and she's been a big artist, but, like, I never heard of her before. But also with the song Nothing Compares to You, there was some, like, conflict there. I'm not sure who wrote it. It was either Sinéad O'Connor wrote it herself, or it was Prince who wrote it. But there was some conflict between her and Prince. So one night, I guess, Prince had summoned Sinéad to his house, and Sinéad went over by herself, not thinking anything. It was like midnight, I guess, and Sinéad walks in, and I guess Prince was just on some hard drugs, and he was kind of acting crazy, and he kind of, like, tried to beat her up. Like, I guess he put, like, some hard objects in a pillowcase and, like, was trying to beat her with that, chasing her around the car, and, like, the only thing she could think of was to run to the neighbor's house and, like, ring the doorbell. And obviously, like, once she did, excuse me, once she did that, Prince left her alone. But, like, I never knew about Prince. Like, everybody, like, whoever talks about Prince or whoever knew Prince said that he was, like, a super nice guy who was super, like, just nice and stuff like that. But I'm very fortunate that Sinéad came out and told the truth about that, just because, like, maybe he was in an abusive person, you know? Or maybe he was just on some, like, really bad drugs, and what artist back then wasn't on really hard drugs, you know? And maybe he just went a little bit crazy for that day, you know? But it just makes you really think, like, you really never know a person, you know? You really never know their true self. You never really know who they are, you know? As, like, celebrities, you don't, you know? Because they keep part of their life private and we'll never know about it. And so you just never know, you know? So if a celebrity ever invites you over to their house, just be careful, okay? And if they ever try to get you and, like, beat you up, you know, run and ring a neighbor's doorbell, okay? There you go. That's a piece of advice for everybody. But yeah, so I guess she was not a fan of Prince. But yeah, so I want to talk about, like, her style, because like I said before, she was not a traditional woman, or, like, she wasn't, yeah, I would say she's not a traditional woman. So when she was younger, her mother always said that she wished she was a boy, and she would cut Sinead's hair. And it was like a short bob, you know, it wasn't like completely gone, but it was a short bob. And then a record label company actually came and was talking to her, and they said that she should grow her hair out because it would sell more more albums, you know. And the very next thing she did after she left that meeting, she went and shaved her head. Shaved it completely off. And that was her typical look. And she's had a shaved head ever since then. And she said that she'll probably always have a shaved head because it proves that she's not selling her music on sexuality. She's selling her music because it's good music. She's not selling it because she's trying to get people to look at her or stuff like that, you know, which I thought was really cool, because a lot of, like, artists and stuff like that, like, I'm not saying it's them, I'm saying it's their probably record label, have, like, sold albums on how sexy they can be or how good looking they can be, and that's how they sell albums, you know, not necessarily about their talent, but about how sexy they look. And I'm really glad that Sinead didn't fall into that trap and fall into something like that. And I really applaud her for shaving her head. Honestly, I'm going to be honest with y'all. I kind of want to shave my head. Could you imagine me shaved head? I mean, I kind of look like I have a shaved head right now. That's kind of why I did my hair, so that way when I look like that, I look like... But honestly, she's a beautiful woman. You know, she's beautiful, and even with a shaved head, I think she's more beautiful with a shaved head than with hair, honestly. She's a beautiful woman, and I love her. But yeah, so the part of the reason I would say that she wasn't really talked about and hasn't really hit big was because she was on SNL, Saturday Night Live. So she was big, you know, but this event at SNL really tore down her career in the public's eyes. In her eyes, she thinks that it really, like, bumped up her career because she sees herself as a protest singer, which is amazing, you know what I mean? She's singing about things that she doesn't think is right, and she's trying to bring awareness to that. And so during this performance, actually, let me back up a little bit. So during dress rehearsal, she was singing a song, War, okay? And she was going to hold up a picture of a child refugee, okay? This was during the dress rehearsal, okay? So come the real thing, which Saturday Night Live, it's actually live, so it's a live recording, everybody watches it. And when it comes to the part when she holds up a picture, she holds up a picture of Pope John Paul II, I believe. And, yeah, she holds it up, and what she does is, while she's singing the word evil, she tears his picture up into little pieces, throws it at the camera, and is like, stop it, you know, because she was fighting against child abuse. She's seen that the Catholic Church was abusing kids. They were child abusers. And this was 9 years before the Pope came out and said, and, like, acknowledged the abuse. So she was out there speaking the truth, man. She was speaking the truth for everybody, and nobody liked it. Nobody wanted to hear it, and that's when, like, everybody stopped. Like, they would destroy her albums in the street. Like, they put a whole pile of her albums and, like, steamrolled over them. Like, they just totally shut her out, stopped supporting her, and it's like, you know what? It's not right, because if you actually, like, looked into what she was talking about, like, it would make sense, you know what I mean? But yeah, so she was, like, backlashed on that, but she said that was actually, like, the point of her career where she was like, I made it, because it's like, look at this, like, reaction I'm getting. I'm a protest singer. This is what I want, you know? She doesn't want fame. She wants to bring awareness to people and situations where she doesn't think is right, which I thought was amazing, you know? But yeah, so that happened, and, actually, fun fact, as of 2016, the version that you can find out there, so if you want to go watch that video, you can, but the version you'll find out there is the dress rehearsal version. They don't show the real version, I guess, anymore. But yeah, so I want to get into a little bit about her personal life. So she actually has 4 kids, with 4 different guys. She's been married 4 different times. She's never... Well, as of currently, she's not married, and I don't think she has custody of any of her kids, which is really sad. But yeah, she said that she likes being alone. She enjoys her own company, and she said that she's very fortunate that she does enjoy her own company. So, like, during this quarantine, like the 2020 quarantine, she's been in Ireland on the countryside, just chilling by herself, you know, which is freaking amazing, you know. But yeah, she has a grandkid too, which is awesome, you know. But fun fact, when she got pregnant with her first kid, the record label that she was talking to, because she was still like a teenager, I think she was like 18 or 19 when she got pregnant, the record label tried to talk her into getting an abortion. Yeah. There's some messed up things that happen in the music industry, and I'm sure, like, the movie industries that we don't hear about, you know. And, like, that's really sad that they try to control your whole life, you know. The label companies try to control the whole musician's life, and I think that's so freaking sad, you know. But she fought against it. She had that kid, and that's the kid actually who has a kid. So that's who gave her a grandkid, which is amazing, you know. But yeah, so little fun fact for y'all. She, if she wasn't a singer, she said that she wanted to be a Catholic priest. This is way back when, before she started, like, protesting the Catholic Church and all that. But she was actually ordained, and she actually became the priest, and she wanted to be called Mother Marie Benedict, which is really cool, you know, because that's her 2 middle names. But yeah, so that's a little fun fact for y'all. But in 2018, she actually converted to Islam, and she changed her name to Shuhada David. I apologize if I slaughtered that. But she did this so, like, she changed her name so that way she would be free of parental curses, and she'd be free of, like, slave names, basically what she said. And she chose her own name, which is amazing. And she converted to Islam, and she said that when she was reading the book of Islam, like their Bible, I'm not sure what they call it, but when she was reading that, she got into chapter 2, and she's like, I've been in Islam my whole life. Why have I not, like, converted yet? And so that was a moment she's like, I'm converting, and she's still Islam to this day, and she's still practicing and doing all that, which is amazing, you know what I mean? You really should try to find who you like and who you want to worship, and don't follow along with your family if you don't agree with it, you know? Like, if you don't want to follow a religion, don't. You know, there's nobody telling you have to believe in something that you don't want to believe in. Okay? There you go. So yeah, so she a little bit ago, I can't remember what year, but on Twitter she was like, I'm a lesbian, and she was saying all these things, and then, like, she came back like a couple days later, she was like, I'm just kidding, I'm not a lesbian. I don't want to put any labels on myself. I'm not going to put myself in a box of sexuality, which I thought was really cool. So that whole little story there was saying that she does not want to be put in a box of sexuality, which I thought was really cool, because why do we have to label ourselves who we like? You know what I mean? Why do you have to label yourself straight, lesbian, gay, you know? Why? There's no point. Don't put yourself in a box, you know? There you go. I just want to let y'all know that I thought that was really cool about her and inspiring and stuff like that. So yeah, so on June 4th of 2021, so this year, she actually made an announcement that she was retiring and she was not going to do the tour of her next album that's coming out in 2022. She was not going to debut it. She wasn't going to do anything. It was just going to come out. And then 3 days later, June 7th, 2021, she was like, just kidding, y'all. I'm actually recording and I'm actually touring and I'm actually debuting the album. So she's like a little jokester, you know. She likes to go back and forth. She has had a lot of mental illness and a lot of mental health problems that has probably impacted her a lot. I know she made a video of her mentally breaking down in a hotel room. Like, she's sitting in a hotel room, she's just bawling in front of the camera, and she's talking about how, like, everybody has left her, she's alone, and she made that video so people and, like, her family would come and, like, rescue her, basically, and none of them did. You know, I guess a friend did, which I'm glad somebody did, because when somebody's having a mental breakdown, they need somebody, and I'm glad she got that support from somebody, but it's not who she wanted. But she says that she's not an easy person to love. She pushes, like, a lot of people away, so it's not easy, you know, and she, like, says that she's trying, you know, which we all are. We all have mental illnesses. We all have mental health problems. I don't think anybody in this world doesn't. I mean, if you don't, let me know how you do it, because I would like to know. But, like, I really applaud her for, like, just keep fighting and just keep pushing, because she has been depressed. She has been suicidal. She has been, like, really down before, and she just has kept fighting and kept pushing, and I really applaud her for that, because that's freaking amazing, you know. But yeah, so she is a wonderful freaking woman. You know what I mean? She's a brilliant, motivating, inspiring goddess of a woman. You know what I mean? And I love that she's a protest singer, and I love that she just freaking is her. You know what I mean? She doesn't let anybody tell her who she should be, or who she should look like, or what she should look like. And I really, really like that about her. And I like that she's really brave and courageous, and, like, just everything about her I like. You know what I mean? But yeah, that was Sinéad O'Connor. If you would like to learn more about Sinéad O'Connor, she's actually writing a memoir called Rememberings. So it's basically, like, how she remembered all of her past and, like, all of her big moments. I'm going to try to find the book, and I'm going to try to read it. If I do read it and learn more about her, and you want another episode about her, I totally will do a part 2, because I'm sure that book is going to cover a lot more than what I could find on the internet, you know. But yeah, so that was Sinéad O'Connor. I hope y'all enjoyed her. She's a freaking goddess, so go check her out. I would suggest listening to Nothing Compares to You first, her first song, because I'm sure you've heard of it, okay? I'm sure you have. It's a brilliant song, you know? But yeah, so that was Sinéad O'Connor. I hope y'all learned a lot, and I hope y'all enjoyed. So let's get into the positive segment time. Woohoo! So scientists' theory of gravitational waves has been proven correct. That's wild. 100 years ago, Einstein theorized that space and time are intertwined, but the idea of black holes were foreboding, to say the least. A team of scientists has recently recorded the sound of 2 distant black holes colliding 1 billion light years away, which indicates that Einstein was correct in his calculations. When I say some people are ahead of their times, it's true. That's freaking amazing, you know what I mean? We're talking about this, which is amazing, you know? Like, that means that gravity's not a theory. It's a fact, you know? It's true, it's a law. the gravitational law, not the gravitational theory anymore. And I thought that's amazing, you know what I mean? And, like, I just want you to think and imagine for a second how much more contribution Einstein could have made for us if he was alive right now. Could you imagine that? If Einstein was, we need to find the current version of Einstein, because I bet you 100% that they're making huge strides. Okay, and I want to know. So if you know the present day Einstein out there, let me know, because that's freaking amazing. I don't understand how people are that smart. I don't. It's probably because I'm not that smart, so I can't even understand their level of intelligence. Which is wild to think, you know what I mean? Like, that some people are just that smart. Like, how did he come up with that? Like, hey, the thing that's holding us all down on Earth is called gravity. It's because of two black holes. How does that even happen? Like, how does he just think of that? I want to know. Or how do people come up with math equations? Like if I run 2 miles and then I rest this, how do people come up with that? I just don't understand how people came up with that, and then it says, yep, that's the answer. You know what I mean? It's probably because I'm not that smart. But, but yeah, so that was a positive segment time. I hope you learned a lot. And I hope you learned that the gravitational freaking theory is real. So it's a law. Okay. But yeah, so that was the episode. I hope y'all enjoyed. I hope y'all learned a lot. And I really, really want you to go check out Sinéad O'Connor, because she is a brilliant woman. She's an amazing woman. I love, 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 love Sinéad. And yeah, so you can go follow this podcast on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter at Power to Women. Woohoo! And you can find this podcast on all podcasting mediums. Also, if you want to go check out my personal Instagram page at EmilyNichols00, you can. If you want to go follow my personal Twitter page at YoungEmily1864. I'm gonna be more active on those sites, and yeah, I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna be more active and post more. And I know I've been saying that for a long time, but I'm actually gonna do it now. But yeah, so I hope everybody enjoyed this episode, and I hope everybody has an amazing rest of your day, okay? And have an amazing rest of your week. And as always, stay safe, eat your greens, stay healthy, be who you are, be your own person. Peace and aliens be with you.